This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Live with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. Jamie, you know, the one guy that you could look at on this Red Raider men's basketball roster, just from a senior standpoint, and guy that you feel like that you spent a lot of time with is Kerwin Walton. This is his third year. He's a super senior, transfer from North Carolina, but you know, he's at least a guy that you had a chance to grow old with a little bit as you're kind of going through this, you know, roster, looking at the guys from the various schools and where they came from and stuff like that.
Yeah, and still he's a guy that started somewhere else, but you're right. He's been with you for 3 seasons, so that's he's a guy that's been here a good while. Yeah, I want to take I mean, your comment towards the end of the last segment there about you not wanting to play, you want to rest those guys and Darian Williams and Chance McMillan. I mean, I feel like if you gotta rest. I mean, JT Toppin's pretty important to you, and other guys are pretty important to you too. I don't know. Just I guess you're just saying because those guys were banged up a week or so ago.
Yeah, I just was wondering, like, if you got out to like a 15 or 20 point lead, you know, do you'll have them take a pew and say, hey, we don't need you till Saturday because we don't want to have you strain your injury and all that kind of stuff. It's
not been the MO of Grant McCaslin all season long.
No, you're probably right, and Jamie, that's why I'm not sitting next to him, providing constant advice on the bench.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, if those guys were hurt and if they're still banged up and Coach McCaslin felt like, hey, we need to sit these guys so they're ready for the postseason, that's one thing. But I think clearly with his comments a week or so ago, he was not thrilled about one of those guys sitting. And so I don't know that you're going to then turn around and reward them and say, hey, we're not going to play you a bunch of minutes.
Well, I just thought maybe after you got out like I said,
yeah. Again,
20.
Yeah. Again, that's not something that Grant McCaslin has done all season long.
Yeah. Well,
there's bench guys that have played hardly any minutes, and
right. No, you're not wrong. I mean, like Emily Alaho's only played 3 Big 12 games. Jack Francis.
Well, that's because he's been injured, though.
Right. But But I mean, he's only played. He played, you know, a handful of minutes at the end of that. That Houston game that was. It was the Houston game that was. I think it was whatever. Yeah, I think it was Houston. And then, you know, Jack Francis only played 3 games, and Leon Horner's played 1 minute. You know, so it's not like you got an extensive bench, which I'm good with. It's just, you know, when you had McMillan out, when you had Williams out, you know, it really affected you because you only had 6 guys that you could play. So yeah, you're probably right about that. What I was going to ask you next about this team is, like, what's the one thing that's really impressed you the most about it as we head to the last 2 games of the year?
I think I would just go by what I've said from the beginning this year with this team that I enjoy about it is that they share the basketball really well. I mean, obviously you have a great player on the inside and Toppin, and you have a great shooter on the outside in Chance McMillan, but I feel like everybody gets involved, and I think it all starts with Darian Williams, and he can do it both. He can really score at all 3 levels, but I think he's, you know, one of those stars that does a great job of distributing the ball. He seems to always make good decisions with the ball and in his hands, and so I just think this team shares the ball really well.
Well, you have 283 assists on your 485 made field goals, and that's 58% of your made field goals have come via an assist. So I don't know if that's a great number, but I think that's a pretty good number. And then your leading assister is Elijah Hawkins, and he's been just nails. He's got 123 assists. and 18 Big 12 games. And those are Big 12 numbers. But anyway, that's the other thing I think that impresses me is you have 5 guys in double figures, and your leading scorer is Toppin in the Big 12, almost 17 a game, and then goes down to Hawkins. He's at almost 11 a game. So your scoring distribution has been pretty good amongst your 5 main guys that are playing. Not all of them are starting, but for the most part, 4 of them at least are. Yeah,
and I think I gave Darian Williams a lot of credit, but I think that Elijah Hawkins is a guy that deserves it as well, because he truly is a pass first point guard, but he's shown you that he can get his too, which is nice to see as well. So I mean, those are your 2 primary ball handlers, and I feel like, and even when Chance McMillan was called upon to be a point guard at the beginning of the season when Hawkins was hurt, McMillan did a good job. So I just think you have a team that's not selfish. I think a team that does a good job of, hey, on any given night or any given possession, somebody else has got a better shot or they're hot, and so we're going to roll with them. And I just think that says a little bit about the character of some of these guys, that they're willing to be really good teammates, and I think that's allowed them to blend and mesh together really well.
All right, couple things here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, and you can weigh in too. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app, presented by Happy State Bank. Going tonight to the game. Just tuned in, so sorry. You're late. You're late to class. If I missed it, but what is the theme tonight? Red, white, or black? I don't know if there's a theme tonight. I would say, I'd say always wear red. That's always a good color to wear for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. This question for you, Jamie. Are there any transfers now that we are almost to conference play that we may have missed on, especially pitchers?
Any transfers? I mean, I would tell you. I mean, there one transfer that I'm really surprised has not been able to get it going is Schultz. He got the start last night. Peyton Schultz, who's third baseman, first baseman, DH, whatever. He's not gotten his offense going so far this year. Crotchfeld has been great. Siebert's been pretty good. Perko, and Siebert's been okay. I wouldn't say pretty good. Perko was great in his first outing and has been pretty rough in his last 2. So it's been a mixed bag, I guess. Offensively with your transfers, Villeneuve's been fantastic. I think Logan Hughes has been solid. Still kind of feel like he's going to get going a little bit more. He had a home run last night. So it's been a mixed bag, I guess, as far as the transfer portal guys go.
Yeah, Villeneuve, he had a home run last night too, didn't he?
That was his first. Yep, but he's swinging it really well. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then playing great defense too.
Okay, this another question for you. Not trying to pile on the baseball team, but did our pitching staff look so great in the fall because they were pitching to our hitters who aren't very good? That's not a fair statement.
Yeah, you're not paying attention if you're making that comment, right? Yeah. Because the offense is. I mean, you've lost 2 games where you scored 10 runs. I mean, you're almost averaging 10 runs a game over your last 6. It's the offense this is not a bad offense. It's a good offense. It's a very good offense. This
is not like spring football where you're like, oh man, the offense looked really good. Oh man, the defense sucks.
Well, I think you can say that. If our offense was stinking, you would be able to say that.
Right.
But if you're looking at the scores of the game, even if you're not paying attention, you look at the score of the game, you see the offense is scoring a bunch of runs. They're just not scoring enough.
Yeah.
Because your pitching because your pitching is struggling.
Centex Hank weighs in this morning. He says, good morning, gents. Yesterday brought the Hill Country a good old-fashioned Lubbock windstorm, complete with West Texas dust. Hope we beat CU by 30. Yeah, I'm right there with you. We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll have it for you at 6. The tip at 7 from United Supermarkets Arena here on Double T 97.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
25. It's the first Wednesday in March. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Is that a thing?
It's just.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. I'm asking.
I just felt like saying it. I just
Okay.
thought, just trying to see if anybody was listening, but that's okay. But you are.
I try.
I know.
Uh,
I know it's hard to follow along sometimes, isn't it?
1955, we have the second ACC men's basketball tournament. NC State beats Duke 87-77. 5 years later, in the seventh ACC men's basketball tournament, Duke beats Wake Forest 63-59. So in about 5 years, they found defense in the ACC.
Okay.
1981, men's figure skating championship in Hartford is won by Scott Hamilton from the United States of America. He was the bald skater that was doing all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Stars on Ice stuff and all the touring stuff that was on in the mid-90s that would do a backflip when he was doing those kind of performances. Yeah.
I feel like he's one of the more famous men's figure skaters.
Yeah, and his TV work was outstanding, commentating during the Olympics and the U.S. Figure Skating Nationals. He and Dick Button were kind of they were the it announcers for figure skating.
I always felt like he was the fun guy in skating. Like, if it wasn't
no doubt,
fun, he didn't want to participate. Like, kind of concept.
You like that broadcaster breakdown there, Jamie, on the figure skating?
Always can count on you to break down the broadcasters.
I knew you would love that.
1982, Major League Baseball pitcher Gaylord Perry wins his who has 297 wins, signs with the Seattle Mariners. So you imagine he would get 300 with them at that point.
I think he would.
1997, Tommy Lasorda, Nellie Fox, and Willie Wells are inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Willie Wells?
Willie Wells.
That's a great name.
And in 2016, Keenan Evans and Devontae Williams rack up 20 points apiece on a combined 12 of 16 from the field, and the Texas Tech men's basketball team secured an 80-71 senior day victory over Kansas State. It is National Cheese Doodle Day. So, Cheetos. But the crunchy ones.
Yeah.
The crunchy ones.
Okay.
Not the puffs.
Not the puffs.
Or the balls. Big time happy birthday to a guy that we have a lot of affection for around here. Happy birthday, Ryan Shetter. Turns 28 today.
Oh, nice.
Eva Mendez, 51. Justin Fields, 26. Joe Exotic is 62. Michael Irvin, 59. And Paul Konerko is 49. And on this day,
Exotic.
1770, a mob of American colonists gather at the Customs House in Boston and begin taunting the British soldiers guarding the building. The protesters, who had called themselves patriots, were protesting the occupation of their city by British troops who were sent to Boston in 1768 to enforce unpopular taxation measurements passed by the British Parliament that lacked American representation. British Captain Thomas Peterson, the commanding officer of the Customs House, ordered his men to fix their bayonets and join the guard outside of the building. The colonists responded by throwing snowballs and other objects at the British regulars, and Private Hugh Montgomery was hit, leading him to discharge his rifle at the crowd. The other soldiers began firing at that a moment later, and when the smoke cleared, 5 colonists were dead or dying, and 3 more were injured. Although it's unclear whether Crispus Attucks, one of the people who was hurt, was African American, he was the first to fall, as is commonly believed. The death of the 5 men are regarded by some historians as the first fatalities of the American Revolutionary War. This ultimately became known as the Boston Massacre. British soldiers were then put on trial, and Patriot John Adams and Josiah Quincy agreed to defend the soldiers in a show of support for the colonial justice system. When the trial ended in 1770, 2 British soldiers were found guilty of manslaughter and had their thumbs branded with an M for murderer as punishment. And that is this day in sports history.
That seems like that would really hurt. Gosh, have your thumb branded like the top
Would
of the
you
thumb
rather
or the
be shot?
No, I mean living is always better. And then I thought, what about short-term pain for long-term gain? But then losing your thumb, I think that would be hard too, because you use your thumb for an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing about that gets lost in the Boston Massacre was the fact that you did have two American patriots who were defending these guys in court, and unsung hero in all of this really is John Adams. The only reason he took the case was because of his love for the law, and it was the basic idea that these men had a right to be defended. It wasn't just we're just going to hang these guys up. No, we are going to put these guys on trial. They are going to have a chance to defend themselves, because otherwise we are just savages, was kind of his take on it.
That's what all lawyers say they're in for. We're just here to defend the law.
But
we're here to help.
More stories need to be written about this from that aspect than are.
All right. This day in sports history, 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Jamie, and Jeff, too, you brought up Gaylord Perry. He would get his 300th win as a Seattle Mariner on May the 6th, 1982. The thing that strikes me, and we talk about this, like in today's baseball, well, there hasn't been a 300-game winner since, or will we ever have another one? I wonder if they thought that because I don't recall them being like a lot of, hey, I wonder if anybody's going to get there, because there were a lot of guys that were on the cusp of it. But Perry became the first 300-game winner since Early Wynn did it in 1963. So it was 19 years in between 300-game winners.
That's quite a long period of time, no doubt.
Especially for that time when pitchers pitched longer.
Mm-hmm.
And one last note on Perry. Think about this, Jamie. He threw 303 complete games.
Crazy.
It's crazy. 303 complete games.
How many years of Major League Baseball would we have to go through as a sport to have 303 complete games?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Was he a knuckleballer, Chuck?
No. No, he was just a
junk.
I think
baller.
he just was a junk pitcher. I mean, he was known for his spitball, obviously, but no, he wasn't a knuckleballer.
Yeah.
I did get to see him pitch once when he was pitching for the Royals in 83, because he went and played for them. That was when they were just always picking up old guys trying to cobble together something to see if they could strike lightning in a bottle. But he played for a lot of teams. He played for the Rangers a couple of times. He played for the Padres. He played for the Yankees. He played for the Braves, Mariners. So, I mean, he was well-traveled, as they say, with his Indians, probably where he's maybe had his most success. Giants as well. He played there for 9 years with the San Francisco Giants. So, anyway, all right, that's this day in sports history, 6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. We get this. I'm sure you'd agree with this, Jamie. It's just weird. You haven't had a single good pitching game, and you're 10 games in with Tech Baseball.
I don't think I could disagree with that.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
As we travel through the sporting world this morning, we'll have Red Raider basketball on the air for you tonight. They tip at 7, our coverage at 6 from United Supermarkets Arena. You know what I want to see tonight, Jamie? I want to see total domination. I want to see like what we did against Oklahoma State, where the Red Raiders won 93-55. That's what I want to see tonight. I want to see complete and utter total domination.
Okay, is there a night that you don't want to see that?
No, but I mean, well, this is the last night that you can see that at home. Okay, this is the last night that you can see that, and so what I want to see is, because your recent games at home, you lost 69-61 to Houston. You did beat West Virginia by 22, 73-51. You beat Arizona State in double overtime, 111-106. You beat Baylor 73-59. But I mean, I just want to see them cream them. I mean, like, to the point where they're talking like I don't know, gibberish or some kind of innocuous concession stand item late in the second half because the game is just so far out of control that you can't even that you're putting in your end of the bench guys with 5 minutes to go in the basketball game.
Oh, okay, can we go back there a little bit? You
Sure.
want to annihilate them so bad that they're talking gibberish or about a concession stand item?
Yeah, I was just trying to, I was just thinking that, you could be in a spot where that the game was inconsequential at that point in time.
I'm still confused with the item from the concession stand.
I know. I just kind of pulled that out of left field. It's like, okay, well, what could they be talking about? Well, some kind of chicken on a stick or something at the concession stand that they had before the ball game that was really good. And it's like maybe they go get some cotton candy for Coach McCaslin or the people that are sitting in the Hollywood seats. I don't know. I was just trying to be funny. So sorry.
What
What
color is the sky in your world, Chuck?
Well, here in Kansas City, it's gray, but my sky is blue, Jamie. It's always clear blue.
It's clear, is it? Okay.
It's blue. I mean, it's a clear sky, but it's blue.
Yeah.
It's a clear blue sky.
Yeah, no, I think it would be good to see a game that was not in doubt. I think it would be good to see a game where you feel like you're clicking on all cylinders and you're playing well. So you feel like you're trending in the right direction. You're taking momentum towards the postseason. You're continuing to get better and better, not quote unquote limp to the finish line. So yeah,
Right.
A pure domination would probably give you some of that.
Utter domination. Utter domination.
Utter. Is that with two D's? Yeah. Utter.
Yes. My friend Bill writes in on my line. He said, "You're right. There are games they start so lethargically." And I can't.
Yeah, West
be specific.
Virginia was a big one there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, just come out hair on fire, like, stand next to the fire marshal when they light the the fire deals, which I absolutely love. You know what they had in Arizona when the Red Raiders played there, they set off the fire alarm, right? And they had a delay in starting the game because they're trying to figure out if there was a fire or if it was just that the fire things got too close to the sensor, which I think is what happened. But they actually have, and this was really cool because it happened during the Lady Raider game against Arizona. At the top of the back of the stanchions of the basketball goals, where they have like the advertisements and stuff like that. They actually had fire coming out of those things. Oh, that was really cool.
Oh, nice.
So it was extra fire, but our fire
is better, right? It's got to be the best.
Yes.
Nobody's fire is hotter than ours. Hottest in the country.
I'm just telling you. Of the fire that I've seen this year on the road,
nobody burns hotter.
Our fire is the best. Our fire guys do the best job. Yes, I can tell you that because I've seen fire in other places, and our fire's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I want to see a couple of double doubles tonight. Maybe a career high for JT Toppin tonight. I don't know. Some block shots. I just want to see Colorado have to go back to Boulder going, well, we didn't get one here. It wasn't even close because they came at us from the jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the absolute jump. So we'll see. Lady Raiders trying to avoid their season coming to an end tonight. They'll take on Kansas. This is a team that they lost to back on January the 25th, 57-50. The thing that stands out from that game is KU getting to the free throw line 32 times, and they made 21 free throws. Now, that's only 66%, but when you foul them 31 times and give them 32 opportunities at the free throw line, it's going to be hard to win, even if you win the specialty points, which they did. They went more. Well, they didn't. They had only 16 points off turnovers to KU's 20, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the bottom line is, here's what I think tonight. I think you have to attempt more free throws than they make.
Attempt more than they make.
Yeah, attempt more than they make. And coming into the game, they attempt 20 free throws a game, and they make 15 a game. The Lady Raiders attempt 17 a game and make 12 a game. Okay? So I think you need to attempt more than they make. And the whole key for that is not fouling and bailing out Samaya Nichols, who is their leading scorer. She's averaging almost 18 points a game in Big 12 play. They love taking it inside, and they love scoring in the paint, but they also give up a bunch of points in the paint, and you got to score inside as well. I mean, clearly you've got to score. Man, if you could play like you did the other night against Colorado, where you made 26 field goals,
that's what they need to do.
Right.
That there. What you did Saturday, rinse and repeat tonight. That was good. Almost the rest of the year was bad. Do Saturday tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, that was their second most field goals of the year. It was their most free throws of the season. They made 23, albeit it went into overtime. But yeah, it's about making shots, right? It's about making shots.
Are we wanting utter domination again?
I'd love utter domination. You know that Fink and I got plenty of concession items in our back pocket to talk about if that came to pass. you know that came to pass, but we shall see if they can fight off the Jayhawks. They have not had a good season either. I mean, they've only won 6 games in the Big 12. They were picked 8th in the preseason poll. Lady Raiders were picked 10th, and Tech finished 14th with the 14 seed, and Kansas finished with the 11 seed. But it's critical tonight, obviously, to win, because otherwise your season is over. And I do think there's something to be said, Jamie, for ending that 9-game losing streak and getting that monkey off your back. And now you can just go play loose, because, I mean, obviously, whatever happens.
I mean, now they're playing with house money, right?
Well, I don't know if you're playing with house money, because the bank is broken if you lose, right? And I do think that if they win tonight, that they would have they'll have a favorable matchup with Utah. It was a game that they should have won against Utah earlier this season in Lubbock. All right, we'll have the game for you tonight in about 12 hours. Just down the street at the T-Mobile Center at 7:30 on 107.7 The Red Dirt Rebel. The tip tonight scheduled to go at 8 o'clock. Jamie's question of the day is next.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, I have a would you rather question for you today. A little bit different than what we normally do.
Okay.
All right. Here is my question for you guys today. Would you rather win the Big 12 championship but not get to the second weekend? Or would you rather not win the Big 12 conference tournament championship, but you would get to the second weekend, but not the Final Four?
So a Sweet 16 or a Big 12 championship?
It could be an Elite Eight.
It could be an Elite Eight. Okay. Look, I'm an NCAA tournament guy. I think you didn't win the Big 12 regular season championship. Went in the Big 12 postseason conference tournament. For this team, I think it has much higher expectations. I'd rather roll the dice. If you get a win or two next week at the Big 12 tournament, great. If you don't, just get me one. Get a 3 seed in the tournament, and let's get to the second weekend or the Elite Eight and see what happens. Because you don't have that many Elite Eights in your history, and you don't have that many Sweet 16s in your history. And I know you can say, well, you don't have very many Big 12 postseason tournaments in your history either, but to me, the NCAA tournament is way more important than the Big 12 postseason tournament.
It's really close, Jamie. And for the point that Chuck just brought up there at the end, you don't have a lot of Sweet 16 or Elite 8 appearances. You've got some, but not a lot. You don't have any Big 12 tournament championships. And Big 12 tournament championships mean less than the regular season championship to me, but they are still a Big 12 championship. And you don't just, other than, Wes Kitley, we don't have just a ton of those hanging around. He's got like 30, but that's an exaggeration. I think I'm taking the tournament success, but it's really close. As in the NCAA tournament success.
In the past, I've definitely changed on this. In the past, I would definitely say that if you win the Big 12 Conference postseason championship, you have a championship, you have a banner, you've accomplished something. But I would prefer that. But I think I've flipped on that, and I think the reason that I've flipped on it is, number one, I can't even tell you who played in the Big 12 championship game last year. I don't have a clue. Okay? Winner, loser, I don't know. I think in today's era with the transfer portal and all that, it's way more important. I also think because there's so many conference championships going on at the same time, I think it all just gets glossed over what happens in these conference championship games. And so I think you in this world of transfer portal era, I think that you're getting so much more recognition and publicity and all of that for making a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And so I think to entice guys to feel like, hey, this program is one that I would consider and all the above, I think it's way more important to go deep in the NCAA tournament. So if you get to the second weekend, and hopefully in this scenario you'd at least get to the Elite Eight, it would be super disappointing to come up one game short of the Final Four, but I still think getting to the second weekend would be more important.
Yeah.
If you told me you were going to just win one game but lose the second game and not make it to the second weekend, I'd say give me the Big 12 championship. But if you're getting to the second weekend, I think that changes my opinion.
So last year in the Big 12 championship game, Iowa State, the 2 seed, beat the 1 seed, Houston, 69-41.
69-41?
Yeah.
Oof.
Great effort there, Houston.
Okay, so let me throw
Resting
this.
themselves for the big tournament, Jamie.
Sure.
Let me throw this one at you. Big 12 regular season championship and fall on the second day. So you win your first game in the tournament, but lose your second. Add that to your group. Which one do you take? Regular season champion versus
but only win one game in the tournament.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not taking that option because you're talking about all you're talking about is how wasted your opportunity was when it came to the tournament. I don't think you're lauding on the Big 12 regular season championship. I'm sorry, I just don't think you are.
I think I still take the regular season championship at that point.
I think I do too. Yeah, I think I do too. I think I'm with Jeff on this one.
Yeah, I just think it's all about the field of 68, and I realize it's not always the best 68. I realize that the team that cuts down the nets isn't necessarily the best team overall. It's the best team at the time. I understand all that, but I just think if you, I don't know, that's just my take.
I just think there's so many different ways you can lose a game in the tournament. Bad matchup. One guy just goes bananarama from behind the arc that you can't defend, that is completely unexpected. There's so many ways that you can lose that you will remember a regular season where you are at the top of the standings at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. I like hanging banners.
Okay, so your conference tournament championships, you won in 76, 85, 86, 93, and 96. All of those were Southwest Conference tournament championships. The regular season championship, you had the 2019 one in the Big 12, and then everything else is Border Conference or Southwest Conference. And you went from 1996 to make you guys' point. You went from 1996 to 2019 with between conference regular season championships, and in that time frame, you went to the NCAA tournament in 02, 04, 05, 07, 16, and 18. In between those conference championships. All right.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This morning here on the Morning Drive with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. The sports schedule today is busy. We'll have Red Raider baseball on the air for you at 1:30 on 100.7 The Score and Double T 97.3. First pitch from Danlaw Field at Rip Griffin Park at 2 o'clock today. Then we'll have Red Raider basketball for you on the air from United Supermarkets Arena tonight. That's a 7 o'clock tip time, our broadcast time at 6. And then from the Big 12 tournament tonight in Kansas City, we'll have Lady Raider basketball as they take on Kansas. The broadcast time tonight, 7:30 with the tip at 8. I think this is the latest that we've played this year. Not that it's going to be any kind of inconvenience or any kind of extracurricular kind of change the schedule up, but I think the 8 o'clock tip time is the latest that we've played on the road this year. So that'll be fun tonight from just down the street at the T-Mobile Center. That'll be at 7:30 on 107.7 the Red Dirt Rebel. Jamie, Jeff talked about it in his Sports Center with regard to the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb. He's taking they've restructured his deal, but don't feel bad for him. He was scheduled to earn $26.8 million this year, but $25.6 million of that has been restructured. He'll get a bonus of $25.6 million. So he's going to get all his money right now.
Yeah.
And
tough deal.
He can put that money in the bank, or, obviously there's tax implications. And then he can do with it what he wants, and his base salary will be 1.17. What? I don't know. I mean, I guess I shouldn't laugh at this quote, but this is what he posted on X, Jamie, when asked why he accepted the restructure. I just want to win. It's going to take more than just myself. Okay, well,
What?
you demanded all this money, okay, which kept them from doing, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, he's been a very productive player, but it's not like you're giving a bunch of money back. You're getting all your money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's not losing any money in the deal.
It's semantics. I mean, at the end of the day, it might be a couple $100,000 short, but you're getting all your money now. So you can invest that money or do with it what you want, and you don't have to worry about, hey, is the check going to bounce, in week 4? It's guaranteed money. He was either going to get it throughout the season or he gets it now. And it makes sense. It makes perfect sense for the Cowboys to do this with him. And it makes sense. There's all these rumors too about Dak Prescott, his deal being restructured or even extended, which to me is just nuts. But I guess you have to do that because of the bad deal that you made with Dak last offseason.
I promise you, if Dak Prescott had some sort of restructured deal that could make him look good, the Cowboys would be promoting that. Make it look like he's trying to be team friendly. The Cowboys would be promoting that.
I've seen a couple of different headlines on this, and I haven't really dove down deep into it, but this article from Sports Illustrated, the headline is Dak Prescott contract restructure looms next for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. If it gets done, they'll let us know, because they're going to make it out to, Dak Prescott, what a all in on the team guy. He's doing whatever he can.
ESPN Cowboy reporter Todd Archer is reporting on X that the Prescott restructure could happen this week or before the start of the new league year, which is March the 12th. He currently has a base salary. We talk about CeeDee Lamb at 26 and some change. Dak's base salary for 2025 is $47.75 million. 47.7. $47.75, Jamie. $47.75 million.
He appears to be well compensated.
He is not going to miss a meal whatsoever. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. And then I ask you this, and here's my NFL query for you this morning. And at least they can say he more than paid for himself last year with what Saquon Barkley did for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he had obviously a tremendous year, was an integral part of their team. But now they've rewarded him with a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension. He's now the highest paid running back in the history of the NFL. So it's $36 million guaranteed at signing. He'll be the first NFL running back to get more than $20 million per year. And he has the ability to earn an additional $15 million in incentives and escalators. I guess the question I have is, how's that gonna help or hurt them with regard to, their salary cap situation?
Well, you saw they just released Dwayne Slay, who's one of their key defensive players. So, I mean, you got to make adjustments somewhere.
Yeah. But it just feels like, is this Zeke Elliott all over again? But at least what the Eagles could say.
Except that Saquon's better.
Yeah, right. No question. They could at least say, hey, Saquon's productive and he's been productive and he's got now skins on the wall because he had 2,500 yards in rushing over the regular season and postseason last year. But it's funny because we talked about, the NFL experts talked about the death of the running back, but Saquon Barkley, it seems like he and others have brought back the running back to the National Football League.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Henry as well.
No question.
Yeah.
No question at all. It's just fascinating. When I saw that yesterday, I immediately thought, oh, didn't work out for the Cowboys with Zeke Elliott, but the Eagles can say, well, hey, he helped us win a Super Bowl, so we got to pay him.
Well, he was a key part of it. There's no question.
Yeah. Big Huey, who's an accountant, he would know pay isn't the issue. How it's structured and the cap numbers are all that it matters. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Jones can pay all he wants, according to Mark. They're still not going to be good at all. At all. Oh, I think that's probably a fair comment.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.